Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame and Cinnamon Sugar. Child, I wish these things would sit up like this, but they don't. These things sit down in the flow. But anyway, as I've already been saying in these last two videos, now this being the third, if you are fat phobic or you have a problem with me just because I exist, which has been happening lately, feel free to exit this video, hit the X, go on ahead about your business. I don't want the negativity over here. All I'm doing is talking to the folks about things that I'm interested in or whatever is on my mind at the time if it's not a recap review of a show that I'm watching. That's it. That's all. This is purely entertainment. As of right now, I don't get paid for anything. At some point, I will have sponsorships. I'm speaking that into existence, and I already know it's going to happen. It is what it is because things that I never even could imagine for myself have been happening for me. So I already know that's definitely gonna happen. But anyway, just go ahead, go on about your business, go and find something that you are genuinely interested in because it's not me. I understand that. And I'm not trying to be anybody's cup of tea, especially if you ain't here for it. I'm not trying to force myself on none of y'all. Anyway, I say have a good one. Be blessed in the city and everywhere else. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into this third episode of Ready to Love Miami. So this is the first time that the men are having their gentleman's lounge. Okay. This week their task is to see if opposites really attract. So they're gonna have to be creative and go outside of their comfort zones when it comes to looking for love because they already are looking on the outside. They like what they see on the outside. That hasn't been working for any of them, whether they are a man or a woman. So they're gonna have to figure it out. It could have been something that could have worked out, but they couldn't see past the surface. Like it's just so many different factors, but the outside has not been matching the inside. The neck on down has not been matching the neck and above. So they got to figure something else out. So LJ ended up going out on a date with Looney. Now, I've already mentioned to y'all before that Looney was out with COVID the prior week. Now she's doing better. She apparently has tested negative for it, so she's back. And even though she hasn't really been there like that, he been talking about her. Other people want to, see what it's hidden for, but he was able to get that first date. And so ultimately that was her first date, first real date as well. And so she was, thanking him for checking in on her while she was out and all of that. Like he has been the one, and apparently he needed to be the one, and she here for it. So for her, she just wants to be able to be with somebody who's going to be them all their authentic selves because as usual, the norm, which is people will show you who they feel like you want them to be and pretend to be somebody who they're not, and then eventually the real them shows up, and I'm just like, child, don't nobody have time for it. Be yourself and leave me alone. If you're trash, be trash so I can see that off rip and go on about my business. But of course, if they want something from you and they feel like they're gonna be able to get you to get whatever they want out of you, they're gonna lie to you and show you all these things to make you think that they are catch when they are actually trash. So, he said LJ, he said that he wants to make the woman that he's with feel special. I think that's nice. That's cool and all of that. Like I like stuff like that. That's not enough for certain women. I ain't gonna get into that, but that is not enough for a lot of these women. Um, she said that she wants to feel protected and all of that. And for her, she doesn't really have any family. Her mom passed away some years back. For him, most of his family is somewhere else. So he's pretty much on his own here in the United States. So, they connect when it comes to that. And so, hopefully, if everything goes according to plan, they will be the ones who will be linking up. And it just seems like they are the ones who have a genuine connection with one another. Even though they're trying to see, what might go on with other connections, other possible connections. Let me put it like that. So Shakira and Alonzo went out on a date. So for her biggest concern is that since he travels so much, because I think he's like semi-retired or whatever, even though he was he a realtor? Y'all, I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to, really remember some things without having to scroll back and look stuff up and all that stuff. I think that he's like semi-retired or whatever. So, or all the way retired. And so, like, he travels a lot and he's big on traveling and wants to be able to be with somebody who can pick up and go and travel and all this stuff with him. But she's concerned because she has a son and he's still young. Like, he's not even double digits in age yet. So, she's concerned that he's not going to be around and that their schedules and their lifestyles would not be able to sync up, so it wouldn't make sense for them to try to talk to one another. But this is what tripped me out about her. So while they were talking, she just kept saying like, oh, so you weren't gonna never ask me for my number? Like, I was wondering like if you had a connection or like if you liked what you saw or whatever, because you ain't seem too pressed to get my number. And he was trying to explain to her that he wanted to get to know her first. And I was just like, girl, I don't know. Like, for me, I would rather do like want to try to get to know me first before thinking you're gonna get my number. Especially since y'all are in this process. This isn't a situation where you in a random country and y'all might never see each other again. So y'all talked for a couple of minutes and you ain't gonna never see this person again probably ever in life. And so it's like, well, dang, can I get your number? Like, you seem cool. Hopefully you are. Can I get your number? It ain't that situation. Y'all are living in the same house or will be living under the same roof at times. And y'all are around each other a lot for this process for however many weeks. So it's not like you're not gonna see this man. You see this man from week to week. So it just seemed like she was like kind of like felt some type of way because he wasn't pushing up on her trying to get that number. He was like, no, it ain't nothing like that. It's not like I didn't want your number. I just wanted to get to know you first before basically pressing you for your number. Child, I was like, okay, Shakira, okay. Like, he just because he didn't want your number off rip didn't mean that he wasn't interested. Like, let that man get to know you. Let him get to know you. It's okay. So Samson and Sharice linked up. Y'all know this is the week where the men got to try to link up with people that they would never try to holler at. You know, that would be their last choice. Like, when they first met, this heifer was on her phone, like, no eye contact, nothing. She was not the slightest bit interested in this man. So they ended up meeting at some ice cream place that she likes to frequent. And so they started talking. Find out that they have some kind of connection, child. I'm like, don't fall for it, Samson. Please don't do it. So we know that he has a like mixed background. His dad was Persian and his mom is like Black Christian or something like that. The dad passed away in a car accident, and they were trying to have a connection or whatever. I don't know. It's like, because I don't see it for her, it's like I don't really be seeing these connections that are going on. So he seemed like he here for her, and I'm just like, child, don't do it. I'm kind of shocked. So Mike, Justice, Swayze, Looney, April, and Sharice all linked up for a trapeze date. And if I'm not mistaken, Mike set it up because, again, this is supposed to be a situation where you're going to set up a date or whatever that is like out of the box for you, something that you probably wouldn't have never set up, just to see how it'll go. So automatically Justice was like, nah, I ain't doing none of this. I'm not going to participate. Like, everybody else was doing all the little stuff. He was not doing it. Like, I ain't even going to lie. My fat behind would have been up in there doing something. I would have been swinging and twirling myself. I'm sorry. I don't know. I guess the old me that used to be very, 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 very active would come out. Like I told y'all before, I've always wanted to do that rock climbing and all that stuff. I'm just afraid of heights. And the one time that I really tried to do it, it's like, I think I let it get to me. So I couldn't allow myself to get up past a certain point. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, he was just like, nah, to the whole experience. And he just kind of hung back. And when he felt like it was his time to shine, he ended up, talking. Mike said that there's a connection with Kayla, but it's like a tug of war. So they were trying to talk. And while they were in the middle of trying to talk and figure some things out, April rolled up. So April is trying to figure out what's the beef that the two of them have with one another, because it's like, At this point, Kayla was looking like, what in the world y'all got going on? Because it's like they started kind of like fighting, and I was like, okay, like this man sitting down and she rode all the way up, and you would have thought they were like really close dating or something, because she was like all on him, but going off pretty much at the same time, going back and forth. And it was just like crazy that they were getting into it to the point where Kayla was relieved when Swayze came from out of nowhere and saved her. So Justice had his moment and he was talking to Looney. I don't really feel like nothing really came of that particular date when it came to them having a conversation. Maybe I missed it. I ain't really see much worth mentioning when it came to that, outside of the fact that he did at least talk to somebody. Mike ended up talking to Sharice, and he ain't here for her. And she ain't here for him. And she was basically like, I'm not here for you. And I never really, felt like giving you a chance, or felt like I should give you a chance, because you already got 3 kids. You got a lot of baggage. And so in his mind, he's like, wait a minute, you're not finna say my kids are baggage. Because he had these kids, I think, with the ex-wife or whoever or whatever, right? And so it's like, how you gonna say my kids are baggage? I feel like you a red flag because you ain't even got no kids. You 45. She was like, I am 43. And I was like, wait. He was like, well, why you ain't got no kids? I was like, wait a minute. She was like, I just didn't feel like it was the right time. And so, like, they was going back and forth. I said, Lord, this is a lot. And so she was just like, look, I don't feel like it's unreasonable for me to say or to request that the man that I'm with be somebody who doesn't have kids, because I don't have any kids. And I don't want all of that drama. And I'm like, it ain't got to be drama, baby. It don't. Some people do have drama with them, but it don't have to be drama. So Randall and Trinika, I know y'all ain't heard me say Trinika since like the first episode, but yeah, that's like one of the people who I feel like they have moments where they appear, and maybe if they last towards the end of the competition, situation, show, and all of that, more will come out about them. She might be straddling the fence, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, Randall and Trinika linked up for a date. She is the main person who like seems to be really into him, and I think he's really into her as well. But he might be feeling a little bit on top and kind of, whatever, because he's sought after by several women. Told y'all he's Jason. He's giving Jason to me, in a sense, because of how he look or whatever, I guess. They favor to me. But the personality is different. So again, I see why the women are living for him. So she really likes him. She feels as though he's nerdy and awkward like that. And so like me, I like stuff like that. Like it's levels to it. Like it's levels to it. So I get what she's talking about. I'd be here for it too. It's a turn on when it's the right person that's giving off them vibes. So anyway, she said that she's looking for a spiritual, emotional, and physical connection with somebody, and she wants, he wants to actually go out with her again. And he was really nervous, and he noticed that, even though she noticed that he was nervous, she kept doing things to calm him down because she really likes him. Like, she was like, come closer to me. Like, she was doing all kinds of stuff. Like, she was here for it. I feel like she felt like, oh, I see he nervous because of me, and that was cute to her. But he really was being calmed down by her a lot. That was really cute. So we end up seeing Swayze. He like kind of set up a date situation amongst himself and other people in the group or whatever, and it was archery. Y'all, I love archery. I love it. I love archery. Now, I've only played archery games. Whenever I have wanted to actually go out somewhere, I wanted to go with other people. Nobody's ever wanted to go. So I don't even know if they have any archery stuff around here. I know they did back in North Carolina when I lived there, but nobody really was here for it. So I ain't never got a chance to do that. So it is what it is. But I was here for that situation. So it was Swayze, Mike, Brandy, Kadian. I'm probably saying her name all the way wrong. Kadian is too aggressive for Mike. And it's like anytime he was trying to talk to her about some things or whatever, trying to get clarity about, where they stand and how she is as a person, he just felt like she was so aggressive that it was just a turnoff for him. So he was just like, I'm not here for that. Like the other men, if they like that, that's cool, but that ain't my cup of tea. She, on the other hand, feels like he's an introvert and that she got to bring him out of his shell. And I'm like, is she saying this as a reaction or something? Because I'm not understanding. Are you just saying this out of a reaction to what he's saying that you give off to him? Because that ain't nothing at all like what he giving off to me. I don't know. But anyway, after all was said and done, it is what it is. Mike still ended up drifting off to be with Brandy, even though it was supposed to be a situation where he was supposed to be dealing with, a complete opposite. And people be reaching out to him, but he feels Brandy like he really is here for her out of everybody else. So we're going to see if that stays consistent throughout this competition situation, all of that. Katie and Swayze started trying to connect again. And I feel like he's the only one who is here for her. I don't know what in the world going on. Mike is wondering why Brandy has struggled to have a man in her life. Like, why you ain't with nobody? Like, is it you? And she was like, oh, you think I'm crazy or something? And she said even her friends have said, maybe it is her. Maybe it's a situation where people think she's crazy, but it ain't it. It just hasn't happened for her. So he was just like, she seems so great. Like, what? Like, is something wrong? What's really going on with it? Because he is all the way here for her. So now the men are they're back in the gentleman's lounge and they are deliberating. They're talking about the people who are standing out and the ones who need to go. So before they even got down to that, as usual, Tommy be reading these men that come in the door. Swayze be having on a super tight shirt and somebody else too. But he was waiting on Swayze and he was like, let me see what kind of shirt he gonna have on today. He be reading. So anyway, Katie ended up being one of the people who was in the bottom, April as well. And the way that Swayze was talking to her, I knew she was going home. And the way that she was looking at him, it's like she knew she was going home too. But they ended up sending April home. And I'm like, I'm confused. It really seemed like Katie was going home. Child, and I feel like I'm saying her name all the way wrong. So, as the season progresses, if she's on there long enough, I will hopefully be able to pronounce her name correctly. But yeah, it seemed like she was going home, child. So I don't know what's going on with this. April was a little bit too aggressive for the men and she was doing too much for them. And they wasn't here for it. They couldn't take it, child. So she had to go. Anyway, thank y'all for tuning in. I have caught up on this. Now tomorrow will be something else, I hope. I'm trying to get back up to what I was doing before. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Subscribe to my channel if you have not done so. Give this video a thumbs up and let's talk about it down in the comments section.